Hey, good morning, guys. Johnny Sunshine, and it's actually sunshiny out here. Woo! I'm getting ready to jump in this swimming pool. It's the weather has broken, man. It's definitely a little bit cooler, and that's all it takes, man. You get to, there's like a threshold. You get to a certain degree and humidity, and it's just miserable. But it's nice in the morning. It still gets hot, you know, around 10 o'clock. You're sweating your ass off 9 o'clock, but at least I can get up now and come outside, have some coffee, and it's nice and cool. I had some video yesterday that I wanted to put up, but unfortunately it got erased. It was that job that and maybe I'll get back there and I can do another segment, but this it was the remodel that I did. I put a shower valve in, and I installed a shower base with the Sioux Chief brass no caulk shower strainer. It all came out great. The place was beautiful. The guy, when he called me, he said he needed a black strainer for that Sioux Chief, and I couldn't get a black one at my supplier. They do have them online at supplyhouse.com. And I went to Home Depot, and they had an Odie strainer that was the same size, 4 1/4. They're all the same size, those drains, just for your information. So they do sell that Sioux Chief brass strainer at Home Depot. So I took it and I opened up. I asked the guy who was in the aisle, I said, hey man, I'm gonna buy this, but I want to make sure it fits, you know. So I bought the Odie strainer, the oil rub bronze. It was close enough to black. And it seemed to stick in that drain, you know. I put it in the Sioux Chief drain, it seemed to work, but when I got to the job and put it in, maybe because that nut wasn't tightened down all the way in the new strainer, I don't know, it didn't work. It doesn't fit. You need a Sioux Chief. If they made them, well, anyways, so I ordered it on supplyhouse.com, but when I turned the water on in the house, because I wanted to wash that shower out, the toilet was running, and it was one of them, you know, funky toilets that you never seen before, name you don't recognize, and it was a one-piece, and we got a siren coming by. I noticed since I moved here, it's like hazardous waste department. Anyways, this toilet, you know, there's a lot of them out there. It was running like every 3 minutes it was filling, so it was dumping water pretty fast. I pulled the flapper off, which was different. I've never seen one like that. The gasket looked good. I actually flipped it over just for good sake. And then I realized, you know, those one-piece toilets, those flush valves, you don't screw them in like a normal flush valve. You just can't, because it's a one piece. So they either have 3 legs on it that you, with like a triangular hole, and you stick it in there and then you spin it, and that tightens it up. The more you spin it, the tighter it gets. But this particular one, it had a brass bolt it had 2 brass bolts, one on each side, and I checked the back bolt, and that one was tight as hell, but the front one I was able to put like 4 or 5 turns on it, and I put it all back together. I did leak test it. Second toilet in a day or 2 days that I leak tested. which I hardly ever do. I just replace shit. But anyways, there was a little bit of leakage in that toilet. I mean, after like 10 minutes, there was a little bit of green down at the bottom, but it may have been from me spilling the dye. I took the whole cap off and thought I was just going to put a couple of drops in, and realized I took the whole fucking cap off and dumped almost half the bottle in the bowl, in the tank. So I'm not sure. I told the owner, but I just wanted to share that with you on these 3-inch flush valves, especially on a one piece. Just take the flapper off, and if you can't see anything, if there's nothing visible to you as to how it was fastened to the tank, then you either have to turn it, most likely turn it counterclockwise until you can get it out, and then just look at the gasket, make sure everything's good. But there was another thing I wanted to talk about. Yesterday on my way to that job, there was there's a Napa auto parts store right around the corner from my house, and it was Milwaukee Day there. They had a tent and barbecue and all this shit, and so I'm always looking for a good deal, Sometimes you can get a good deal at those places, and I pull in, and I realize they've got a real tiny Milwaukee hammer drill. So I asked the guy how much it is. He said it's $180. It comes with a charger and a battery, which I thought was a pretty good deal. And then he said, and if you buy that, you get a free tool. So now I'm thinking, wow, that's a real good deal. So I decided to buy it. It's a 12-volt little thing, and the free tool was great. And I asked him, I said, hey, do I get a military discount? And he said yes. So that was another 20 bucks off, which was great. But when I opened the box up about an hour or two later to look at it, I realized that he didn't give me a hammer drill. And I had been recording all of that shit. And I said to him at least 5 times, I want the hammer drill. So anyways, I go back there, and I tell him, I wanted the hammer drill. And he's like, oh. I said, well, I mean, it's right there. That's the one that I was holding. He said, yeah, well, I don't have them in stock here. He said, I'll have it sent to this Napa store. And it was $10 more. But he gave me another battery. And so I ended up with actually 3. I got 3 batteries, 1 extended life battery, totaling 3. And I got a hammer drill and a right angle drill for like $180, less than $180, man. That was a fucking great deal. You ain't gonna get that. Guys, let me tell you something, man. Just a little word of advice. Don't buy the shit unless it's on sale, because they're just fucking ripping us off, man. Anyways, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is there's a lot of talk, man, about young guys, and they don't want to fucking work, and they're just lazy and bums and blah, 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 blah. I don't see it. Anyways, we've got a vocational technical school over here. We also have, right around the corner from my house, we also have a polytechnic high school where kids who are not going to be sitting behind a desk, they go to that high school and they teach them a trade, man. But anyways, there had to be 40, I'd say 45 young kids who are in the mechanics class at either the Votech or the Polytechnic High School. And I talked to a few of them guys. One of the kids I went up to, I said, what year are you in? and he said, "Oh, I'm not in this school anymore." He said, "I graduated." And I looked at his shirt, and he was in a uniform. He's got Audi on his sleeve. And this kid, a Spanish kid, looks squared away. You know what I mean? Like in the Navy, everybody gets a fucking haircut. I don't care who you are. You look squared away. Means a lot. But anyways, this kid, he graduated from that class, and now he's working at an Audi dealership right around the corner, and he's doing well. I will say that you know, mechanics is different than plumbing. Plumbing is a lot harder job than mechanics. You're in the shade, you're in a shop, you're not out digging, you know, rough-ins in the rain or fucking 110 degree heat index with no shade. It's a lot tougher, but I see a lot of young guys in the trades. I feel good that I think we're in good shape for the future. We just need to share our knowledge and don't hold it tight to the vest, you know, your little trade secrets. Who gives a fuck, man? You know, pass it on to the next generation. And that's rewarding in itself, man. To see a guy grow in a trade. I hired guys at my shop when I first started that nobody else would hire, man. And half of them fucking own their own business now. And it's rewarding, man. You know, you're making a difference. You're helping people who need to be helped, not, you know, kids who were born with a silver spoon in their fucking mouth. So reach out, man. Reach out. That's why all these recruiting stations are in the fucking tough parts of town. Because these kids, they need direction, and our military is a reflection of that. The makeup of our military, who's there. And these guys get squared away. They have a purpose, they have a focus, and it's great for our industry. So pass the torch is what I'm trying to say, man. Pass the torch, guys. Teach them, and teach them well. The good, the bad, the ugly. You're gonna have bad days wherever the fuck you are. In an office, at least we can't jump out a window, you know, when we have a bad day. we just play in the dirt. Anyways, we'll see what we can get into. I'm planning on doing some new construction tech tips. Some of the things that I did that I don't think many other people were doing. These were things that I thought of. I want to do a couple segments on new construction tech tips. Got a couple of things that I invented to deal with issues we were having out in the field, especially on rough ends. If you're doing, there's two types of construction down here in Florida. Basically monolithic pours, which you're going to see a bunch of form boards up around the house and the footers dug, or stem wall. Stem wall is a little cleaner. The footers go in first, then they come in and put you know, a couple courses of block with a Leno block or cat block at the top. But I've made some stuff to deal with the monolithic pours, because a lot of these houses are on septic tank, and that invert, that elevation of that pipe coming out of that building is critical. Like, you can't get an inspection until an engineer has come out and shot that invert and made sure it's correct. Then you can, once the sticker's in the box, then you can call it in for a plumbing rough inspection with the county. The problem is, it may be right when you left it, but then the next day a fucking, you know, truckload of concrete guys who typically don't love us because they got to backfill all our ditches, they stopped beating that pipe around. And it was very, you know, until I made this tool, it wasn't uncommon for me to get to a job to put the hooked the sewer up and realized that the pipe was jacked up because they were digging footers around it or pushed it down. You know, you just need it where it's supposed to be, because all that engineering sheet, when they give you the invert, building invert, the septic tank inlet invert, septic tank discharge inlet, invert, it's critical, man, to have a system that works right. And one thing I want to tell you is invert. Guys, the easiest way to remember what an invert is the flow line. That's what it is. It's not the outside of the pipe, the top of the pipe, the side of the pipe. It's the flow line. It's the inside of the bottom of the pipe. So keep that in mind. I'm going to end this video, but we'll get something up here today. Hopefully I'll get a job. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here. I'm going to jump in this pool here shortly. I'm going to finish my cup of coffee. And my little honey went to work this morning. She's got a new gig at another school. She's just a sub, you know what I mean? At this point, she just works out good for her. But so it's quiet for me today. Have a great day, sweetie. All right, guys. It's been great talking to you. Like I said, reach out to some young kid. You can make a lot of money in this trade. You can live good, and you're not gonna end up with fucking 20 years worth of student loan debt. You know, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, they obviously were lawyers, but man, they paid off their fucking student loans when they were in the White House. That's how long that shit takes. It's a fucking business to fucking screw these kids. And they give them credit cards now. So they come out of college fucking steeped in debt, and they owe a bunch of student loans. So teach them a trade. You come out of that a year on the job training, you're making money, you're getting paid to go to school, and you have no debt, man. It's all upside, y'all.